Welcome to INTERCLEAN Amsterdam online, live from the studio in Amsterdam. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Rob den Hertog and I'm your host for this half hour. With us is Alexander Manafi from ToolSense, and he will give a very interesting presentation later on. The idea is that we have a presentation of approximately 50 minutes, followed by the Q&A afterwards. And then I will return to you. Basically also this video, it will be taped, and put on our website interclean.com, so that afterwards you can see it back if you want and have some questions. So please ask your questions during the presentation, so that after that we can answer them together with Alexander. Alexander, welcome again. You have to know that ToolSense is one of our category winners of the Amsterdam Innovation Award, the category e-cleaning. So yeah, Alexander, the floor is yours.
Okay, then thank you for having us, and thank you also for the great organization of this event. Quickly about ToolSense, we started 3 years ago. It started actually as a university project, and our goal was on the one hand to provide an IoT solution that works for all machines and works across all brands, and on the other hand also build a platform to bring manufacturers and customers closer together. And so we are right now working in the cleaning industry with more than 10 manufacturers and distributors, and we are also active in other verticals such as commercial garden and lawn, where we work, for example, with steel, or in construction we work with Tyrolit or Metabo and many other companies. So what is the topic for today? Topic is connected cleaning. Where are we in 2020? What's the status quo of this market transition, of this technology trend? So I'm going to talk about in general, give a brief introduction, what actually is connected cleaning. What's the status today? How far ahead are we? And thirdly, what challenges are actually hindering the progress? And maybe what can we also do to solve this kind of problems? So, connected cleaning, what actually is connected cleaning? So when we look at how basically products and together with IoT and digitization develop, we can see it like an evolutionary journey. And in the beginning, here an anonymized scrubber, walk behind scrubber dryer, we have a product which works and which is already by itself a great piece of technology. And it by itself is not connected, it's not smart or anything. Maybe only has electrics, but it does its job and it does it well. And this is the first step. In the second step, we introduce basically the world of electronics and microelectronics, and we get a smart product. Meaning this can also be a scrubber, where now the service engineer can go with a cable, and go with his service laptop and then read out, for example, what problem does the machine have when it has a breakdown, or he can update the firmware of the machine over his laptop. And so the machine already knows quite a bit about how it's being used, about problems that actually are existing. And they also can tell this kind of information if you have the right tooling, meaning a laptop, and are allowed to see this. So this is the second step. The third step is then actually a connected product. So this is what we see. A lot of manufacturers are actually also now bringing out. For example, they have a vacuum cleaner which is now connected, or they have a specific product, specific machine, which is now connected. What does this mean? It is connected. Where now before the laptop was, there is basically now a little device inside the machine, a device like this, a little chip, which has a modem and can read out data from the machine, like runtime, location, battery voltage, error codes, performance parameters, and then can basically send this information to the cloud. Yeah, so for example, it has a SIM card like your smartphone, and over the cloud, it gets then shown in a platform. Yeah. And so this by itself is great if the value of this specific product is very high. Yeah, so if you, for example, have an elevator, then this can be very expensive, 6-figure investment, 7-figure. Or if you have an injection molding machine, then the investment for this specific product is very high. And then you as a customer are very keen, of course, to optimize every last percentage and really reduce the cost of operation. If the machine is cheaper, a couple of €1,000 for a scrubber dryer, then the value of this specific machine alone being connected is not so large anymore for the customer. Why? Because the customer not only has machines, this specific machine, but he also has a range of other machines. Yeah, so he has a fleet, and this fleet typically consists of multiple machine types, but it can also, of course, and typically consists of many different brands. Yeah, and so here, every brand, every manufacturer has a product that is now connected, or a couple of products, and basically it's very siloed. And when you have a connected fleet, when the customer has access to a connected fleet, then basically they have networking effects over their complete fleet. And it's not about the single products anymore, but it's about that they can digitize and in that sense automate a huge part of the operations. Yeah, and so this makes it much easier for them, and they can save a lot of cost with that. And the value is much higher than just having single individual products. When you have 100% of your fleet digitized or in some way or form digitally available. Yeah, and again, all of these different machine types from different brands are connected with a piece of hardware like this, and they send data into the cloud, where then basically over a platform and app, it can be used. And it can be used, for example, to automate processes, to get alarms, and it can be used to basically make life easier for everybody involved. So the end customer already has quite some large advantages. But what we see actually where the highest value comes, and so this is now also something that we see increasingly, is what we call a connected cleaning ecosystem. Meaning, when you look at the operational reality of a cleaning company, it's not only about the machine, it's also about different other aspects, like, for example, external service providers that they work with, or external service providers that could actually add a value. It's also about other IoT products, like washing machines, like elevators, like lighting, like air conditioning, etc. It's also that they're using other systems like computer-aided facility management, ERP systems, or workflow solutions where they can manage their field crew. And on the other hand, they're also, what is now coming up more and more, is so-called building management platforms that not only want to create a digital twin of a specific machine, but a digital twin of the complete building. And so what we see actually now is that from individual connected product to all of my all of my machines, all of my tools are connected to my whole operations, my whole relations with commercial vendors are interconnected, and we see that here that the value is leveraged, yeah, by each of the parties. Yeah, this can be, for example, that new business models are enabled, new insurance models. It can be that in my workflow operations, in my workflow software, I can have multiple benefits because I also have data. And so this is where we see now actually industry going, and what we also see as an ecosystem of connected cleaning that we as an industry should work towards too. All right, now what is the benefit in general for the customer, for the cleaning company? Why should they even want to go to connect the product, connected fleet, an ecosystem of connected cleaning? Why is this even relevant? So what we see is that when we look at the cost structure, operational cost structure of a cleaning company, only 3%, of course, is the actual machine. Yeah, and of course, the most part of the cost structure is the personal cost, and in this regards, it's very synonymous to process cost. So where we see actually is that the ecosystem of connected cleaning and the connected fleet can have a huge benefit on automating various processes around the machine. So it's not only about the machine, it's also about all the processes that work around the machine. It's also to various cleaning processes, coordinational processes that before were manual and tedious can now be automated because we have multiple data streams available and they all are harmonized and are intertwined. And so this automation of processes is what we actually want. What we don't want is to have a product which now sends data. What we want is to actually automate processes, yeah, and offer new models, new service models on top of that. So that's the benefit for the end customer. It's in saving costs. It's in reducing. It's in using bound capital. It's in making the workforce more productive. Now, what is actually the benefit for the manufacturer? What is the benefit for the dealer? And we see therefore revenue or like value drivers. Yeah. We see actually that because of Corona, and there has been a massive reduction in new machine sales, across all industries, also in cleaning. And we see that by connected cleaning, with connected cleaning, manufacturers, dealers can actually increase their after-sales revenue, which is traditionally a very high margin, by automating sales of parts, of consumables to the customer. We can see that with connected cleaning, OEMs and dealers can provide new value-added services to the customer. And so we actually see this with our customers, where they can sell IoT as an extra service, an extra value layer, so to speak, on top of the machines. And they can actually increase revenue and increase margin per machine sold, which is quite nice. We can see that OEMs and dealers with this ecosystem of connected cleanings can actually automate manual processing customer service. And meaning if you have a digital connection to the customer, you can reduce your process cost for cost estimates, for date scheduling and all these kind of things, and make a reduce throughput times in service, automate service scheduling, makes it much easier for everybody. And the fourth part, and actually this is something that we see in the cleaning industry happening right now with an increased urgency because of Corona, is actually new business models that are enabled through connected cleaning. On the one hand, this is basically new models. How does the machine get to the customer? Pay-per-use, pay-per-outcome, meaning pay-per squared per square meter, per clean square meter, for example. It can also be new business models where other partners also participate, and a completely new business model is basically brought to market. And we see here also from other industries that through moving these to these kind of new business models, it's actually possible to triple, quadruple the revenue per machine over the whole machine lifetime. And not only the revenue, but also the margin. And it's a much different margin situation. And we see already also in construction many different OEMs who have done this successfully. And we see now a much higher urgency from dealers, from customers, and we see a lot of potential here. So these are the benefits for the OEM and the dealer. It's about increasing after-sales and service revenue. It's about reducing cost in after-sales. And it's about differentiating and gaining market share. So it's about key drivers of the business model. All right. What is the status quo of connected cleaning today? So we've seen those steps. We've seen the ecosystem of connected cleaning that all of us want to move towards, so as an industry. But where are we actually today? And this is quite difficult because basically there's no data available, no reliable data available, because it's so young. Yeah. So what we did now is we took, you can see here the McKinsey Digitization Index, where you can see on the one hand industries that are like media that are very well digitized already. That have a relatively high digitization degree, and then on the other hand, you can see industries that have a very low digitization degree. And when we now look to cleaning equipment, it's not on there, but a similar or like let's say related industry is construction equipment. And so we see that construction by itself, as a relatable industry, is very, very low in regards to digitization. As we are also active in construction industry, we can also confirm this. And what we did now is that we evaluated where is construction, where is cleaning. So when you look at the construction industry, you have almost a $10 trillion market size in 2022. And there's a $2 billion per year software spend right now. And so what's also interesting that when you look at construction equipment, right now, almost 20 to 30% of all commercial machines in the field are digitized. What does this mean? Meaning 20 to 30% of all commercial machines have a chip like this, and they actually send data. When you look at other industries like manufacturing, the number is already much higher there. So actually construction is quite a slow mover. And when we compare to cleaning, so again, there's no really scientific data available. But we see, of course, the market size is also quite significant. There's no available data for software spend. But what we see, talking to cleaning companies about these topics, talking to basically manufacturers and dealers about these topics, is that they are less than 0.5%, and that's very, very generous. Of all commercial machines in the field are digitized. I think it's actually way less. And so we actually see that the cleaning industry, with the vision of the ecosystem of connected cleaning in the end, is very, very early. It's complete heyday, and it's very a green field, basically. And this, of course, provides a lot of opportunity for all the market participants, because we also, as an industry, don't need to make all mistakes again. So we can save everybody time and money by learning from other industries that are related, like construction, like manufacturing, and taking those learnings, what works, what doesn't work, and basically incorporating it in this journey to connected cleaning. Okay, and what actually do we see as challenges? And that's quite interesting, right? Because we saw this journey from product to ecosystem of connected cleaning, and why are we not there yet? What is hindering us in transforming our market to become? Why are we not that ecosystem right now? And we see a couple of reasons. And firstly is that we see that right now when you look at systems in regards to IoT, whether it's for cleaning equipment, whether it's for other kind of equipment or machines, these kind of systems still are sometimes very expensive, around 10 euro per machine per month, which of course works for larger outside sweepers, but not for small scrubbers, and of course not for small vacuum cleaners. So we see that the high cost is actually an entry barrier, and this is blocking and hindering the progress of our journey towards the ecosystem of connected cleaning. So actually the high cost is a big problem. So we have to reduce the cost. Second is what we see is that every manufacturer or most manufacturers basically are not are thinking about their product, about their machine, of course, the machine manufacturers, and they're not thinking about an ecosystem. And so they are basically trying to create their own silo system. Now, again, we saw the fleet. The cleaning company doesn't have only one brand of machine, but different ones. They have a multi-brand, and they also have different partners. And so it's very difficult that every manufacturer wants to basically create his own silo system, and his own encapsulated platform. And this doesn't work for the end customer. And so this missing interconnection, that it's not possible that the platforms or the systems speak to each other, are interconnected, and that every manufacturer tries to create his own silo. We see this actually as a big problem. So the cost, and that it only always works for this specific brand of machine, maybe even only for specific machine types. And this, of course, is not ideal. All right, and then the third part actually that we see is that there's still an uncertain return on invest, both for the end customer. So the big question is, how can I, as a cleaning company, how can I actually use new technologies to automate processes, to save costs, to increase compliancy, etc. And so there we still have a lot of work to do as an industry to really prove the ROI. But we see actually very good mindset. So we see that the cleaning industry is very open to digitization, actually much more open than compared to other industries. So that's very positive. And the second part is still that how can I, as a manufacturer, or I as a dealer, how can I actually monetize these kind of new technologies? How can a module like this, an IoT device, not just eat up my margins, but how can it actually add to the value I deliver, to the value I can monetize? And how can I differentiate myself? How can I also deliver new kind of service models, business models, or new services with partners? And here we also have a lot of work to do to actually really prove the ROI for everybody involved. So if we can prove the ROI for both the end customer, for the OEM and the dealer, if we can do more work here, if we can create systems that are not bound to specific manufacturers, but work across all brands, all machine types, all machine categories, and if we can reduce the cost and decrease the entry barrier, then we see that this acceleration to this ecosystem of connected cleaning will be much faster. All right, that's my presentation, the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to take some questions.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. We have a lot of questions. My personal question was, how about data security? Can I hack your system and look over your shoulders what you're doing?
Yes. So data security, compliance, GDPR are very important topics.
Yeah.
And this is also why we as ToolSense, we are a neutral technology partner. We don't own any data. The data is always owned by the entity who generates it.
Yeah.
And so we're just a technology provider, and everything that we do is built according to GDPR. All the data is stored in Germany and in Belgium, 100% encrypted. And I think this is also what you mentioned here is also one of the things, right? When I use proprietary systems, a lot of cleaning companies are then unsure, okay, who can see the data? What will you do with it? And that's quite difficult.
Yeah. Okay, then quickly to the next question. Can it also give information like water flow? Is it already in the system, or is that an extension for the future? Water flow, maybe
so
also.
So it depends on the information that is available by specific machines.
Okay.
So what we do with the ToolSense IoT unit, for every machine type, every manufacturer, every brand, you can get location, runtime, accurate by the minute, battery voltage. We're also working on a feature where you can have loading cycles independent of brands, brush motor activity, suction motor, so more basic data. And of course, what's also important is that everybody can develop their own sensors and integrate it, and it's an open system actually we're building.
Yeah. And you can advise the OEMs on which sensors to use, probably. What connects the best with the...
Yes, exactly.
Is it available in Holland? Somebody asks. And I'm from Holland.
So we have customers in EU, all across EU. We also have customers in the States, and so ToolSense is available worldwide.
Okay. Well, just also to mention in the chat, you can look back in the chat all the questions. Maybe we cannot answer all the questions right now. And also the presentation is recorded, so people can find it back on the platform. And on the other hand, also, you can reach out to Alexander because he is also on the platform as one of the participants. So don't waste your time and the connection to connect to each other. What do you see as the biggest problem with IoT for cleaning machines right now? Maybe you answered that question already in your presentation.
It's basically two things. Cost. So it's important that it's much cheaper. So 10 euro or whatever more per machine doesn't work. It has to be much, much cheaper. So price and it has to be super cheap. And the second thing, it has to work across machines and for all brands and all machine types. And even for machines that are not necessarily cleaning machines, it has to work for everything. So that's quite important.
Yeah, I understand. And the question also raised is how do you solve those problems? Is probably reaching out to all the OEMs and all the end users.
So we actually, that's how we developed our IoT solution. So we built certain sensors directly on the device and also certain artificial intelligence algorithms. So for example, you just have to connect it to the battery of the machine or put it on the outside, and we can already detect a lot of data, and you don't have to interfere with the machine. So that's also the nice part.
Well, we're almost out of time, Alex. Thank you again for your presentation. Please reach out to Alex or in the chat or on the platform. Thank you again for being with us. Congratulations again on your category win for e-cleaning, and it's well deserved. So, hope to see you soon in 2 years, hopefully in this hall,
definitely.
which is now a little bit empty. So please
of course.
fill it.
Then we can have the beer.
Last question just came in. How many field implementation sites do you have already? So how many?
So right now we have more than 30 customers.
30 customers.
OEMs and dealers, and more than 10 in the cleaning industry.
Great. Okay. Well, that was on the. Let's say goodbye and hope to see you again. Stay safe and healthy, Alex. Also.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.